I am speaking with Dr. Joan Cartwright. She is an associate professor at Palm Beach Community College in South Florida, teaching communication and speech. She is about 30 plus, close to 40 years, I believe, and as a musician, composer, author, artist, performer, entertainer, has traveled all over the world, from China to Europe, performing and with some of the great artists. My interview with Dr. Cartwright is primarily women in jazz. What is her experience as a musician, being a woman in the music industry and in the genre of jazz, and realizing the misogynistic industry as it is? What were her experiences, and where does she think it'll go in the near future? How are you, Dr. Cartwright?
I am 73 today,
Yes.
and I'm an adjunct professor at Palm Beach
Okay.
College. I'm not an associate, I'm an adjunct. That means that I'm part-time, but I've been teaching there for over a year, and I taught at two other universities, Kaiser and Southeastern College, and I'm happy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And that's a lot to say for a 73-year-old woman these days.
Right. Right.
Pull your screen down a little bit.
How's that?
That is much better. Yeah.
Okay, my apologies. There we go. In your experience, when you first started compared to today, what are the differences
In what?
in business, when doing business as a woman
Oh,
musician,
as doing business in the music industry.
music
Well,
industry?
I am in a very different position today than I was 40 years ago in my 30s, when I was aggressively seeking stages to perform on, venues to work at, and to hire my bands. I was a band leader starting in Philadelphia because of my teacher, Gerald Price. I had been on stage since I was 4 because of my parents, who put me in dancing school. I went to Bernice Johnson's dancing school. Bernice Johnson taught Ben Vereen, and she taught Michael Anderson, who was Michael Jackson's choreographer. So I learned ballet, tap, interpretive, and singing from the age of 4 to 8 in that ensemble that performed in front of 2,000 people every year. So I was a seasoned performer by the time I was 8 years old. The costumes were off the chain. The footlights were what I yearned for. So I was an entertainer by the time I was 8. Her husband, Bud Johnson, was a very famous saxophone player. And he used to take me down in his basement when he was babysitting, between my mother dropping me at their house and Bernice picking me up to go to dancing school. And he would be playing a saxophone. So from 4 to 8, I internalized scat. And I didn't know it until I was 27 years old, standing in an elevator with the two of them and their son, Bud Jr. And it hit me. I was 27, it was Manhattan, and I said, oh, that's how I learned bebop. You know, really to internalize it, because he was doing riffs and I was hearing it. It was going in, and then eventually it had to come out. Okay, so from my 20s to my 50s, I performed all the time, everywhere, 5 continents, 20 countries. Uh, I don't know how many states I performed in. And I just had a delicious career. I mean,
Mhm.
the only thing I can complain about is that maybe it only lasted, 18 good years of touring, 8 years of touring Europe. But then I
Mhm.
was also in Africa, and as a travel writer for 4 years. I toured in Brazil, Mexico, uh, in Ghana, Gambia. And, it was just, I had these careers that were different. They were
Mhm.
separate, from each other, because one was performing and the other one was writing
Right.
series, for newspapers and magazines. And I guess when I look back on it, I can't separate the author
Mhm.
from the musician.
Right.
It's like, okay, today I'm going to wear blue, black and blue, but tomorrow I'm going to wear orange. And so but it's still me,
Right.
you see. So writing and singing, even though they're two different things, but they're exerting energy, they are communicating, So I communicate. How do I communicate? And then I teach communication. So then there's
Mhm.
the educator also that I have become. So what is different is that I have arthritis in my knees now that prevent me
Mhm.
from being as active as I used to be.
Right. And that's primarily a lot for older musicians. It's a lot of work. You're out on, on the road for many. It's probably 9 months out of the year or more. If they're, very
Or
successful.
24 a month,
Right.
like
So,
me, I was gone for 2 years,
right.
you know,
Right.
gone. Uh,
So, but it's a passion that you definitely can see in your work. Um, what do you think that you've experienced in the past when it comes to business dealings? Have you seen any changes since
yes,
for the better?
no, especially during the pandemic. Musicians
Right.
are suffering probably worse, not worse than doctors, nurses, people who work in the hospital.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah,
Nobody's
but they're
working.
economically.
Right.
Hmm.
No, but no, artistically, you know, creativity is, it can happen anywhere. So
Hmm.
musicians are addicted to audiences. They're egoists.
Right.
So they need an audience. I remember your sister saying, I need a stage. I need to be on the stage. Well, I never really felt that way because I've been on the stage all my life. So the stage was like moving from the living room to the dining room for me. I just
Right.
stepped in the car, got in the car, drove to the dining room. It was second nature to me. But many musicians crave that attention, you know. And I had to learn how to put up that force field where people want to be with you. They want to touch you. They want to be with you because of the energy that you are giving.
Mhm.
And people call psychics vampires who actually will suck the energy right out of you. You know,
I understand.
well,
Uh-huh.
groupies are that way. I've been a groupie. I know what it is to be a groupie,
Right,
and I know what it is to have groupies.
right.
You know,
Um,
so
do you think, though, on the economic scale, we know that they're suffering, as many others are. Um, but as in most drama, or most artists tend to create great things during dramatic times in their lives,
downtime, right?
downtime.
This is
So,
where creative juices start working because the first they get into that state of depression, okay,
right,
where and then the musicians are the worst complainers. They complain worse than any other field, any other.
unless you're a professional complainer.
And then you play an instrument, guaranteed you the same, or
Right,
you're an actor.
right. Well, performers, let's just say
Now,
entertainers as
your
a whole.
president is an actor. Everybody keeps waiting for him to be president. He is not the president. He is the actor playing
Right,
the president. Okay,
a president.
and he
Okay,
craves attention. He'll do anything for press.
right.
Bad press is better than no press at all.
True. Do
He
you
kept
feel,
it that way for 4 years. Go ahead.
no, no, no. Um, do you ever recall any bad experiences that may have wanted you to quit the business?
When I quit,
Well, that's good. I'm talking about.
so
I
what
hear you.
changed? When I started working, I was working. Not my first band, I made $6. We all made $6. Okay, that's ridiculous. But we loved
Right,
freaking music. It was Latin jazz, and it was bad. We were young,
right,
and there were 9 of us, and I was the only female. So shit, I got a lot of love.
right.
Lots of love. So, and the music was superb. So then I graduated. Gerald got me paid, I think, $75. And then I was making about $100, which then I came to Florida, and Bob Vandervoort was paying me $55. And I found out he was paying me out of the tip jar, and I quit because the tip jar would be packed.
Right,
Hey, I'm trying to get this packed full of money. And it
right.
didn't start going in there until I came up and started singing. And I saw him go in there and pull out $55 and give it to me, and I went ballistic and I quit. And the organist, Eddie Crescetti, said, "You should have quit, Joan." Well, the next week the drummer quit. And then he ostracized both of us for quitting. And then he punched Bob out and quit.
I got to tell you, there's a lot of drama. Getting to that, then it's very important whether in a small, well, most local business owners or bar owners, lounge owners won't do a contract unless you've done.
No, none of them.
They won't, right? Unless you have the name and they know you're going to pull.
Local restaurants, none. Europe, I had a contract for every gig.
Right,
I had to sign a contract. And they
right,
had to sign it because I had an agent for 4 years, and she got a contract. But the last contract she got was in German. I couldn't read it. And they put me in this apartment. It was 4th floor walk up. And I'd get off at 1 o'clock.
yeah. So you have them.
Walk home about 4 blocks, which was, I just sang for 4 hours.
Right, 4 blocks. So you
So
sang for 4 hours. You walked 4 blocks,
then I
and then you
walked
had to
up
do
4 flights.
4 flights of
And then
stairs. So
at
I'm playing that
7
number.
a.m., they started construction on the apartment next door, at my headboard.
All right. So
By the third
40,
morning, I had lost my mind. My mind was
right,
no longer there because I couldn't sleep.
right.
You can't sing if you can't sleep.
So you definitely, as a performer, you definitely have a great agent and that understands specifics.
Well, she was great up until that point. But
Right. And
but
then, you know,
she had knee surgery. It was a comedy of errors. Too many things
right,
went bad. But
right.
that's another story that you want to hear from your mother, which I
All
am,
right. Yeah, yeah.
and proud to be because you are
Yeah, definitely. Proud to interview
you are
today on your
my
birthday.
son, the son. Okay. Yeah.
But we definitely understand, though, that you derived your passion. I mean, you derived your interest from early childhood experiences, which built your passion into becoming a performer and entertainer, and where you are today. Definitely have gone through the gambit of the financial and the relationships that most musicians have gone through, which are primarily downers, not uppers.
No, not for me.
I'm talking about on the business.
Because I was a businesswoman, because my mother was a businesswoman. My
So
mother
most,
sold everything. My mother sold Avon, Tupperware, Shackley, AIDS, diet candy. My mother sold silverware, crystal, china. My mother
so
sold girdles, bras. My
see,
mother,
your
she was
mom was a
an
hustler and maybe a
she was
part-time,
entrepreneur. Well, no hustle.
right?
My mother
No
was a
hustle.
lady,
Yeah.
and
Okay. All right.
you knew that Charlotte was a lady, but she
Yeah.
was an entrepreneur.
I mean that in a
So
good way. She got
I
out there.
learned. My mother sold dinners out of the back door with pig feet, potato salad, fried chicken, and rice and gravy. And
Wow.
this girl
Okay.
could cook, and
Yeah.
fried fish and coleslaw and chicken salad and
Right.
oh my,
So
roast beef,
by the
beef,
time I was born, by the
cornbread,
time I,
collard
by
greens, macaroni and cheese. This woman could cook.
right.
And
By the time I was born, we got liver and onions. Okay. So all
you
right, but I don't want to get off. I don't want to get off subject.
okay?
Um, I don't want to get off subject. It's true. Just I don't recall any of that. I only remember liver and onions and a lot of sherry. Um, uh, so you for women in jazz, where do you think it's going to go? Or how do you think it's going in the future with
Well,
the younger musicians, younger female musicians?
so I'll share this with you. This is my publication, Music
Right,
Woman Magazine,
right.
and this woman is in her 20s and she lives in Orlando. This
Hmm.
woman is 93 and a half,
Wow.
and she lives in San Diego.
Yeah,
Now,
you got to
she,
add that
of
half
course, is
after 80.
retired, but this one is hitting the charts left and right, nominated for a Grammy, member
Wow.
of Women in Jazz South Florida. So
That's beautiful.
women
Okay.
musicians will always be on the rise because where were you the first time you heard music?
Oh, I was probably on your bosom in the South Bronx or in
When
Queens
you were
somewhere.
in my womb and
Oh, okay.
blood
Yeah.
rushing through my veins with the strings and the heartbeat was the drum and I was probably humming. So I was the
Okay.
first musical instrument that you encountered.
So I was classical and my sister was metal and hard rock.
No, quite the contrary. You're a metal and hard rock, and she's classical. She's classical R&B, hip hop,
Uh,
jazz, and
yeah,
blues. But we're gonna get you to sing, yeah.
yeah. All right. I know in your youth, I remember you doing the Jazzmobile, being a part of a lot of organizations that uh, um, introduced music to low-income housing. How do you
Not to the
feel,
housing, to the people.
well, to the people, but it was predominantly in impoverished areas,
Yeah,
yeah, I
project.
mean, it's not wrong. I mean, I don't remember us going through Park Avenue or anything,
No,
uh,
but we went
but
to grants too.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I was young. I remember that. It was great. But where do you fare jazz to be, say, in 20 years? Do you think it'll,
Jazz was born. The blues was born.
right?
It, they ain't never going anywhere, ever. Trust me. Jazz will be on the moon. There'll be a jazz club
That's true.
up
That's
on
true.
Venus. They'll have a blues club, and it'll be
Mm,
all blue. On Mars, it'll be hot jazz. It's gonna be there. It ain't going nowhere. Do
right.
this. Say bebop,
Bebop,
bapua,
babua,
shop bop bop it up.
shabba babida.
Say Adelia,
Adelia, okay.
Adelia do,
Adelia do.
Adelia do bop,
Adelia do bop.
Adelia do bop bop it, baby. Wow.
Okay, I'll leave that to you.
See, that's what makes me the jazz singer in the family.
No, I hear you.
Oh yeah.
I think coming from a family of socially extroverted, dysfunctional, crazy loving people, uh, uh, I, 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 you know, I keep my singing in the house.
You're a
It's,
closet singer,
I'm a closet singer,
and I'm a
but
closet pianist.
right, yeah, okay, yeah,
I
that's
don't
actually
play
pretty
piano in public.
right,
Okay,
right,
these girls was just a
right.
lot.
I think a lot of that. Oh no, it's all good. Well, but there's still a passion that drives it. We know that jazz music to me is just a global, a universal language.
Yeah,
And the one thing that I think humanity definitely agrees on is, food, music, and camaraderie, and it all comes together easily when in the right setting. Um, I do know that as being there personally and experiencing your growth uh, uh, up until today, it's inspirational. Uh, uh, knowing also the other things we've gone through in life. Um, Now that you're going to retire, you're going to leave teaching. Uh, will you I don't know, continue to teach on a private level? Will you, or
I,
are you
I
going to do
I would like to teach on a higher level. Okay,
right?
I've been
Hmm.
teaching for 5 years speech communication to first and second year students, really teaching them how to organize their speech,
Right.
not write it, but organize their citations and their
Hmm.
references. Okay,
Hmm.
so to support their thesis. But I would like to teach a business course or teach a marketing course to maybe graduate students, people who already know how to write, you
That's
know,
understandable. Yeah.
and think.
Uh, mm,
Mm.
most uh, educators that hold higher degrees tend to be stuck in low courses that don't challenge their uh,
My brain is jello. I'm telling you, I have
right.
nothing to inspire me, to motivate me. I'm
Right.
consistently motivating young people to learn. Well, today, my only student to receive 100 on my final paper, which is the outline and references in APA style, she brought
Mm-hmm.
me a birthday present today.
Mm-hmm.
And she's the only student that I remember getting 100. They did a
Right.
99, 98. But I probably had some that did, but I don't remember.
Right. Well, kickbacks are good, Mom. Kickbacks are good.
Yeah, but that was after the fact.
No, no, no. I'm just kidding.
When
No, no.
she brought me
Um,
chocolates, homemade
oh,
chocolate in
wow.
an
Okay.
apothecary jar. Come on, that's pretty cool, right?
That's
Me
beautiful.
who
Yeah.
lived in Switzerland, I love chocolate. And she brought
Right.
me a journal. So she paid
Okay.
attention that I said the best thing you could do for yourself is journal.
Well, I heard many teachers and instructors say if as long as they just reach one, they're good. You know,
On my
um,
birthday.
yeah. And for you see, so your karma is good. Your
Yeah.
karma is good. You've provided excellent education, I'm sure, to your students, and hopefully prepared them. It's up to them though. Like most people that want to get into an industry that is very low in the success rate don't realize that the hardcore discipline and work they have to put in to get up at that 1 to 10% success rate. Everybody else is still struggling. That's like, for example, college players looking to get into NFL. Well, let's just say there's 20,000 college players,
Right.
only 2,000 of them are going to get in NFL, maybe
Not that
drafted.
many.
Wait,
Oh,
wait a minute. Maybe get to the draft, but
right,
only 1 to 2% will get into actual NFL.
right.
And now it's requiring more. What do you say? More. You need more. The word I'm looking for is more. Oh
Publicity.
God, requirements. You need more, not just your degree, but they expect a lot from you to get in there.
Mhm.
So uh, uh, I can tell, like, there's a I was looking at a data from Juilliard about they had a freaking like 90% success graduate rate, but only 2 or 3% of the students will ever find true success in the music
In
industry.
the music industry. Well, they
Right.
will. You see, there's another misconception because there are a lot of roles to play in the
Right.
music industry. You could
Right.
be a musician. You don't have to be on stage to be successful. You
Oh
could
no, you could
be
do.
a copyist. You can just
Mhm.
be a composer and have one hit song. You know,
Right.
you can be right. You can teach, of course, but you could be the music director at a concert hall or a
Mhm.
cultural center, or you could be head of the music department at a university or at a high school. So there are many different roles that musicians play. You could be a music editor. You can be, uh, how they say the musical director for
Right.
stage plays. And that doesn't have to be Broadway. It could be community theater.
Right.
So
Yeah.
but if you're creative, but you don't have business mind, you're gonna be lost.
You definitely have to have a plan, and a realistic plan. That I think that's what's important. Uh, you know, uh, you're again. I want to thank you for your time. This is an oral history project, and just bringing history to people regarding any subject. Mine is about Dr. Cartwright and her uh, life experiences in music and her living the experiences. I know as your son, I saw a lot of great things happen. You definitely have evolved and grown, and the health and well-being of your mind, body, and spirit has prepared you for today, you know, and you're gonna, you know, really, Mom, for 73, fantastic, fantastic. You're doing well,
So I
doing
have a
well.
question for you.
Hmm.
We lived on Worcester Street in Philadelphia, and I used to play the piano, and
Hmm.
you and Mom and Mimi would be upstairs.
Right.
Were you listening to me play, or was it just background music?
Oh no, we were listening. I was. I can't account for Mom, Grandma, and I always made comments like, you know, you need to hit them keys better, or you know, stuff like, oh yeah, yeah. Grandma, Mom
What?
was on you. Yeah, yeah, man. She's like, what are you paying that man for? No, stuff like that. We
No.
would make we would make little jokes, but remember, you were just starting out your college experience, you
Right.
know, your career, your music. You were like, let's just say, you know, and even though you had it in your childhood,
It was a big
there, there's a
gap.
there's a big gap,
Mhm.
you know. So, and the gap was, you know, your kids, you know,
Well,
and that
hey,
life and other
yeah,
things too, you know, just life experience. So,
but it
and
happened
we've
the
all,
way it was supposed to happen.
well, yeah. I mean, like, as I've told my friends, I had a conversation a couple of days ago, and people were asked, well, what would you change in your life? I would be like, nothing. You
Not,
nuts. If
not
I
a
changed
focus.
anything, I'd probably make it worse,
Yeah.
you know. So I'll keep it the way it is. Well, would you go through your last 3 years again? As long as I didn't change anything, yes, you know. But no, there are reasons why we're here to learn and experience. To go back and try to figure it out, I think only causes more damage, karmic and chaos. And so you make the mistakes. Mistakes are good, you
Right.
know, depending on the level. Mistakes are good. I'm not talking like, you know, murder mistakes, but, you know, mistakes are good. And if you can learn from them and move on,
Well, I wrote a poem that mistakes are the best friends you'll ever have
ever have,
because
ever
they
have.
teach you to do the things, they show you the things that you shouldn't do. That's it.
Yeah, like I've made a mistake not being on my forums as much this semester because I was mentally exhausted. I'm putting that in the interview too, so my teacher will understand.
Okay, so I will save this recording and
All
I'll
right.
send it to you. Now you can edit it, take,
No, no, don't have time for that. I
oh,
want to just turn it in and enjoy my 6 weeks. That's in there too, Dr. Kidwell. I'm tired. I'm exhausted.
Dr.
She's
Kidwell.
awesome. She's awesome. Great teacher.
Mhm.
I've had her, I think, one other time, if not two. My university is phenomenal. It's a great university. I think they offer great online courses for undergraduate masters. I'm going to take another master's course after this one. So, oh yeah,
And,
yeah, girl.
and what?
Political science. So history, political science. So I'm doing a practicum and I'm going to do that. So just stay
And
in school and learn.
what is your university?
American public university system, but I'm with American Military University.
Okay.
So yeah, so it's part of it, and I love them. They're very receptive, responsive. They call you immediately. I'm doing a commercial now. Okay,
Well,
so
I'm teaching in 20 minutes, so
God,
bye bye.
again, thank you, Dr. Joan Cartwright, Mom, for this opportunity to do this little paper final on your birthday, and have a great evening. Call me later. All
Okay.
right, I'll
Peace.
talk to you later. Bye, Mom.
That was my son, the son, interviewing me. That was a very good interview, Michael. You know, I do interviews on Music Woman Radio every month. You should do live interviews. You're a very good interviewer. Keep it up.